Monday, August 11, 2025, 4:30 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order at Weston Municipal Center, 4747 Camp Phillips Road. I'd like to acknowledge our guests.
I am Tracy Trout with Marshall County.
Okay. You are on item 12 on the list, on the agenda. I tried to bring it up. Roll call, please.
Zagami,
Here.
Jordan,
Here.
Hubbard,
Here.
Mumper,
Here.
Schuster.
Here.
So, she's here for item 12 on the agenda. I'd like to take it in first right away, if possible. Everybody agree?
Sounds good. Okay.
So item 12, service signing for hospital area.
Yeah, I can give a brief overview and then if you have anything to add. So Ike had been working, or kind of in discussion here with the hospital. As we were reaching out about the pavement, project around there coming up this, summer yet. And, they had sent a request to add some additional signing kind of along Franciscan Way at Ministry Parkway, just kind of letting people know where the emergency services entrance is. Sound like they got a complaint, so they have a emergency sign kind of above the building, and then it's also parallel to Ministry, but if you're at Franciscan, you can't necessarily see either one of those. You know, so in the village right of way, we need to follow the manual on uniform traffic control devices, so you know, we'd be looking at signing it with one of these emergency medical care signs. Ike's initial thought was if we put it here and we have it arrowed, maybe it's blocking the stop sign. You know, there is 2 stop signs at that intersection, as you can see here, so I guess just trying to find out if we want to add those, we can try to locate them in a way that they're not blocking the stop sign. An alternate way would be for them to add an emergency sign kind of on the back side of their stop sign on private property. So here's that emergency sign that they currently have that is kind of perpendicular to Ministry Parkway. So this one would just have a sign pointing to emergency on the back side of the stop sign there, so that I guess it helps alert motorists that straight ahead is where you access the emergency services. I guess
There's not gonna be too many sign in there.
well, I guess that was why we are bringing it here. You know, so if we try to do it this way per the MUTCD, I mean, maybe that starts getting a little busy in there. Or if they can add it onto their own stop signs, that's maybe a little cleaner. I guess on their perspective. So if you're at this stop, it'd be on, you'd be stopped here and it'd be on the back side of this stop sign, telling you that emergency services was straight ahead.
And then the size of the lettering is sufficient.
I'd have to look at exactly what size that would need to be.
I think it should be large enough because people going there, they're under stress, let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, we could do both. I mean, we could put something like this up maybe a little before the intersection. Even if we wanted to have a turn arrow on Weston Avenue, you know, kind of leading people to that spot.
Right, yeah.
You know, so we could
I
add
don't like the color of your signs.
the blue.
Yeah, I associate blue with hospital and red with emergency.
Sure.
I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I look at that blue, that wouldn't help me get there.
Yeah.
That was my thought when I read this. I looked at that blue sign and I went, not gonna do it for me. I would think that's a hot sign like they all are on the highway, you know, you see hospital and the blue
Yeah, the
sign.
H signs.
I don't know that it would get me there. The emergency one would.
Yeah.
That would get me there. I don't know, that was my 2 cents on this topic. Like, I just didn't like your sign, and no offense, but.
Yeah. So that's the sign that, you know, the uniform signage says you should be putting in your right of way.
So the shape or the color?
Both, all of it,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yeah.
The emergency sign should be blue.
Yep, hospital related signs are blue, yep.
Hospital are always blue, but
Yeah.
to me, that's why I looked at that sign, I went, I would just think that's another, oh, the hospital's ahead. Well, of course it is, right? Where's the emergency department though?
Yeah.
So do they have to follow that on private property though?
They can do whatever they want on private property,
So.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, that's my 2 cents on the confusion factor. I said, if I'm confused, I want a big red sign that says emergency. That would get me there.
So you said you're gonna put the sign on Weston Avenue?
I guess that'd be my thought, is we put one on Weston Ave directing them down
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Franciscan here, and then it's once you hit that intersection, you know, another one, I guess, here saying straight ahead, and then hopefully, you know, somebody's like, I need to turn right, it says go straight. I should go straight, and hopefully they see it then. But,
So in the hospital would like to put that red emergency sign on the backside of their stop sign?
and I'm,
Certainly could. I think, you know, leading up to, as you're heading north Franciscan Way, I think when the facility was newer and the trees were smaller, it was probably easy to see the big, you know, emergency sign in the canopy. But, you know, people always miss signs, so I think the concern is people get there and they turn right or left instead of go straight where they need to. So the local president just asked me to escalate the concern. I think having signage near the stop signs would be more advantageous.
I think DOT should have some signage for those. I mean, the color wise also, maybe.
yeah, that's where the blue comes from, is
It
the,
will come from DOT.
Yeah.
Did you
I
have
think-
to put up all 3 of the blue signs?
Do they have a size in there? Excuse me.
yeah, so they're 24 by 24 for the top one, 24 by 18, and then a 12 by 9 arrow.
Yeah, cause the blue, the one on the bottom, I would have no idea what that is.
Yeah, well, the arrow is just trying to.
That arrow thing with the blue, I wouldn't know what, that wouldn't help me. I don't know what that is.
I mean, more or less, it'd be, you know, a right turn arrow at Weston Ave or a left turn arrow on the other side of Weston Ave, depending on where
Yeah.
you're coming from.
And I don't know how much that, I don't even know what to call the top sign, that whatever shape that is with the, is that a snake or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it's whatever that EMS symbol
That would,
is.
that wouldn't, if I was, especially if I was panicked looking for an emergency room, that wouldn't help me either.
If you put the arrow and the emergency sign on the same sign, same post, that help.
Yeah,
Or maybe that, yeah, maybe the bottom two in combination.
Well, I have seen that.
You'd put them all on the same one. I mean, an arrow by itself isn't gonna do you any good. Where's it going? You're gonna need all 3 of them. I don't know,
Yeah, the way that it's indicated in that picture there makes sense to me.
yeah, yeah, you'd stack them and,
So your only concern though is that you're gonna block the left-hand stop sign as you're coming up to the,
yes, I mean, maybe you put these up on the light pole here. Or we figure out how to get them in by the stop sign there. I mean, the stop sign is on the far right side, although it's 2 lanes coming in, so I think there's a way we can make it work. And maybe just mounting the signs on this pole that's already there is one of the solutions, although then are the trees blocking it or something else, so.
I still think your best sign is the back of the stop
Yeah,
sign with the
so I mean, we could-
emergency.
Yeah, so I mean, we could do our side of the blue and then still have, you know, encourage the hospital to add that sign to the back of their stop sign too.
We could definitely do that.
Yeah,
You put other signs on the stop sign pole?
you're not supposed to.
That's what I thought. Can you?
There's always the other aspect too, which happens as time goes on, signs get ignored.
Yeah.
I could see one on either side of the of the emergency on Weston Avenue. Beyond that, I think it should be the hospital's responsibility. I mean, I sat at desk 4 for many years, and people, they'd get in there and, am I at the, clinic? No, you gotta get in your car. They do ignore signs after a while, and I mean,
Yeah,
there's plenty of signs up there. Adding any more is, like I say, I could see, and I agree with you, Red, on Weston Avenue, one pointing left, left turn, and the other one a right turn. From there, it should be the hospital, I would think. The hospital should. I mean, I presume these are, if you put any on Weston Avenue, they are the village signs, right?
it would be, yeah,
And we'd have to maintain them and.
correct.
Yeah, well, Franciscan Way is, before that stop sign is still village.
Yeah, all those streets are village streets, so anything we'd be putting up in our right of way is our sign.
And if you put it in the right of way, you're gonna follow the standards, which are gonna
Correct.
be those blue signs.
Yes,
So if they wanted red, they'd have to put it on their property then.
correct.
So you're gonna do some research?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the proposal is we would add those, kind of series of blue signs at Franciscan and at Weston Ave. As the village side of things, and if the hospital wanted to add anything on their stop sign, they would have the ability to do that.
We just don't wanna crowd it.
Yeah,
Too many sign is confusing too. It should be clean and very distinguished, easy for everybody to see it, to find their direction. If you got too many signs, it's just a problem. I would make sure the sizing is okay, the size of the lettering. Because if you go to larger lettering, you need a larger sign. How large, I'm not sure.
yeah,
I'll check DOT, see what they have done.
yeah, and that's where Ike picked these out of the manual on traffic control signing, yeah.
There's nothing on Weston Avenue right now.
I think we just have the blue H, but I don't think we actually have anything that tells people to turn down the road.
And then you put that sign up in 6 or 7 more years, that tree that's in front of it will cover it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, I'm looking at it, so maybe something in that middle median doesn't even make sense, maybe it's just
I
on
was just
the
gonna
blue
say, you
side.
might wanna locate it on the other side of
Yeah,
the road there.
So what are you putting on Weston Avenue?
it would be,
See with the arrow?
yeah, it'd be this configuration, but there'd be a right arrow if you're heading westbound and a left arrow if you're heading eastbound.
Do they have to appear in that configuration?
I think so, most signage is done in a way so that there's the picture,
Words.
words, and then direction, yeah. That way if you're. Although I guess these guys' points, you have to actually know that that symbol means emergency care.
It's the star of life.
Yeah,
So it has to say,
It's
Never
the
seen that
6-point
before.
star of life.
it has to say.
That's something new.
emergency
Well, I've
medical care.
I've seen them.
yeah, because that distinguishes it separate than just the hospital, like an H.
That's the one I always think, yeah,
Yeah.
the H.
Would you like to add anything to it?
I think just, we appreciate some things in addition and on the Franciscan.
Franciscan,
Thank you.
yeah,
Way, jot. We definitely can add signs on the back and stop sign. That would be appreciated.
Okay. Well, they're gonna work on it and probably when you get ready before they install it, they talk to you. Then you can see what's gonna go on.
We have to move to approve.
Well, we
that.
should.
yeah, if you want to authorize staff to,
Right, so that would move to recommend the village provide emergency signage at Weston Avenue and on Franciscan Way prior to the stop sign. And according to the regulations, and that we would encourage the hospital to add a red emergency sign to their property that would be east of the intersection of Franciscan and what is it?
Ministry.
Ministry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have it. Thank you for coming to the meeting. Okay, we are item 4, public comment. There's no public. Anybody on a website, on a Zoom?
Tanya from Clark Dietz is on and the rest of staff.
Is there anybody on the Zoom like to make a comment? I assume it's no.
I guess Tanya's there for item 10. So,
Oh, Clark Dietz?
yeah.
Let's clean up some of this stuff.
Yeah, let's do our minutes.
Yep. Item 5, approval of 7/14/25 public work and utility committee minutes.
Move to accept.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? We already talked about it, Michael, that I think that should be cleaned up a little bit. And then they say replacement, bridge replacement is 5 to 10 years. It's not.
I guess, yeah,
Because of the existing, did that bridge being there 40 years?
yeah, I mean, we can look, I guess maybe rephrase that to, bridge replacement study would begin in the 5 to 10 year, something like that.
The existing, but name the bridge, Oak Bridge.
Yeah.
The life expectancy of bridge is 50 to 75 years with a nice maintenance program. But in here, we're saying 5 to 10 years bridge replacement. I know what he's talking about. He wants to do the study and that sort of thing, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
can elaborate on that, just to clarify that as the Ross Ave Bridge and looking at, planning for that replacement.
Okay. We, also, maybe we should take item 10.
Is that, so there's a motion, was that approved?
I don't think there was a vote.
There was.
Yeah,
There was?
We didn't vote.
Was there? Okay.
Well, there was no vote.
I
but
second it.
Second, yeah.
Okay, so it hasn't been voted yet.
Okay.
So all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have it.
Your number 6 too, that'd be quick.
And number 6, acknowledge July 2025 water and sewer permit.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge the July 2025 water and sewer permits.
Second,
Second.
discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have it. Thank you. Okay. Is it okay if we take item 10?
Sure.
Okay. Item 10, Schofield Avenue Construction Service Amendment. Give me a minute. Okay, here's a change order from here. For the amount of 187.
182,709.38.
Yeah, $182,709.38. This is not clear here. I think it's a combination of the construction services and the design. And I like to see it's being separated. Then we can see what we're proving. And also, we should look at the schedule because if you look at billing. Costs total of it, engineering costs today, and then construction cost total and construction cost today. And if we look at the Schofield Avenue, we have engineering total cost was 545,300. Today bill is $587,050.09. Now, this combined design with it. Am I correct, Michael?
Correct, yeah.
I think we should separate this, then we know what we're paying. And also we should have a schedule to see that this change order, that take us to the end of the project or what? Does that make sense?
And this was a not to exceed change order, correct? You said in there?
Correct, yeah, so the time and materials for the construction observation would be so part of it's for design work that was done, and then the rest is kind of for an estimated extra need for construction observation due to the duration of the project and the amount of work going on out there.
Well, I know the other two bids were all like $720. They're within $1,200 of
Correct.
each other.
Yeah,
Now, this change order is 33.5% increase, and they're gonna end up being the highest of the three when you add this together, you know, and I don't know, it's just not a good look when two firms, you know, were that separated. There wasn't even another lower one. So,
yeah, I mean, so part of, you know, even at the time, looking at those when we awarded it, you know, if I go back 2 years to when we had these proposals out there, you know, the thought was that we would be removing the concrete pavement, putting new pavement in, replacing some signal lights, and kind of that was it. That was the extent of the project. As we got into the design, salvaging the existing curb, how it was tied to the concrete pavement, a lot of that stuff kind of went out the window because it was like, there's no good way to try to salvage the curb. You know, a lot of it was there's 10 feet of good curb and then 20 feet of bad curb, or, you know, so it was so part of me is wondering, you know, if I go back in time, were these other firms looking at this as this is truly a complete street reconstruction project? And Clark Dietz was the one that was like, this is a pavement replacement project. This is what they asked me for. This is what we're going to provide the level of effort for. And then as you get into it, you see, okay, yeah, it does need to be more of a complete reconstruct and not a pavement replacement project, so. And then it's right there with the other two, so. I guess that becomes a hard one, because in reality, they probably gave us what we asked for when the other two assumed it was something different. And now, you know, maybe they knew better than me and they knew what they were providing, but at the same time, if all of a sudden I'd said, hey, now we need to change out curb and do these other things, where those other firms have said, well, that wasn't as part of our original scope, so now we're looking at 850,000, you know, versus the 720, so it's hard because we try to put out these proposals so that we get apples to apples responses, and everybody maybe has their own idea of what that project looks like in the long term. And trust me, I understand what you're saying, Tom, and I probably should have been going through this in January, February, as we were going, oh, shoot, that curb's not gonna be able to stay. We're adding some water main replacement now that wasn't part of the scope. We added, sidewalk that, once the curb came out and driveway aprons were adjusted, now you had, smaller chunks of sidewalk, and it was like, well, it makes no sense to try to save that if we're changing the slope on everything else, so. So it became more of a reconstruction than just pavement replacement.
But that's the engineer's job too, when you design and you figure out this is not what you give the proposal, they should come forward, and say, here it is.
And yeah, and that's,
Do it.
and that's where that was said, and I don't wanna use the crux of it was a TIF funded project, but it was a TIF funded project. We didn't have time to delay this one more year. Costs needed to be spent by March of 2026. So part of it was we needed to get this project designed and out the door by March this year. So the contractor was selected and they were working by April. So some of this stuff was kind of we don't have a finite answer yet, but we need to get bid docs out so that we can get this thing going. Otherwise we lose our funding source. So I'll admit I should have had this 6 months ago in front of you guys, at least for the design portion, because that would have been more well known that we were going above and beyond the original scope of what the work was. But
Yeah, so I agree that, you can't say that the $720,000 bid would have been enough either for those guys.
correct.
So I mean, it's, interesting. It's coincidental that they end up being close to the same.
Thanks, yeah.
No indication that that's exactly what would have happened. So
Yeah.
I'm with you on that, and I guess, the big deal is it's still within a reasonable, what that budget originally was intended to be, so it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, but still, I need these costs to be separate. I can't understand this.
Yeah, and we can
Yeah, we
also
can
do that.
Yeah, I'm sure that he can do that.
That has to be separate, and also there should be a schedule. Because what we separate in here, then part of that 182,000 goes to construction.
Yeah.
That should be identified how much it is, compare it with the schedule, see if that take us to the end of the project.
I saw Tanya came off mute. I don't know if she has that breakdown now and would like to share it.
Tanya, do you have anything to say?
Go ahead, Tanya.
I think she's talking, but there's no volume.
Is her microphone muted?
She's not muted.
Maybe she's muted on her side.
Yeah. Could be it too.
Hold on.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. I got kicked off a little bit at the beginning of your discussion, but yeah, happy to answer any questions. And I will just say, the total that I came up with, I did not even look at the other people's proposals at the beginning. And Michael reached out to me and said, do you realize how close this came into the original RFP amounts? And I was like shocked actually that it did. So honest to God, truth on that one. So I do have a breakdown pretty easily that I can get you, maybe not to the dollar, but I could go back over kind of how things transpired here. Michael's correct in that I did assume this was a pavement replacement. I had actually even asked some questions during development of our fee because it seemed like a relatively straightforward project. Leave both curb pans in there, take the pavement out. We didn't anticipate doing a full profile, changing the typical section very much because we were limited by the median curb and gutter and the exterior curb and gutter. And there was hardly any work taking place outside of the back of curb. I realized when the fees were all brought to you guys that we were way lower than everyone else. And so I did a conversation with Michael about that because I also thought, you know, like I had a slight coronary thinking, oh my gosh, like we're going to have to do this work and lose a whole bunch of money on it. So I was confident even still then that the project could be delivered as a pavement replacement at the fee we put in front of you. So what did change, as Michael noted, was a fair amount of work involved in the project, namely changing the profile slightly to pick up some better cross slope. There were a few places that the road was relatively flat, combining that with some areas along the curb pan that were gentle, and then trying to come back into the side streets. So we, maybe this is a little nerding out a little too much for you, except for a couple of you I know are in the same business, but we set alignments and profiles along each of the curb lines and ran a section through the entire corridor, which is about 6,000 feet, give or take. And that's where the lion's share of the work was in going from a reconstruct or from a pavement replacement to a reconstruct. Cleaned up some driveways as far as that went as well. Now, some of the overlap between design and construction fee. So I have this in here. I was maybe about 80, let me look at my number, about 80 grand in additional design, which comes in 23% or something like that additional fee on the design portion of the project, which was 370, 300, I believe. Some of that was probably not as efficient as it could have been because, as Michael noted, we were trying to get this out the door and there were still decisions being made on the scope of the work. So we had a couple bid addenda that we probably wouldn't have had if we spent a little bit more time on this and bid it a little bit later. But we were trying to get this all into one construction season. As the project grew, it needed more than the 22 weeks of construction that were noted in the RFP. So there's a little bit of gray area between design and construction and where one stopped and one started because of that. Things were still evolving during bidding time and when construction first started. So about 80 to 90, give or take, was early in the, or late in the design, early in construction. Right now there's a little over 100 grand that's not billed. And we would not bill for whatever wasn't used. With the current schedule, the contractor being ahead of schedule and having multiple crews out there, we also had multiple people. I'm confident we wouldn't go over this amount if the project stays the same and the schedule stays the same. Similar to, we had a project on meter pits. That was one we did a T&M not to exceed, and we didn't use it all, so we did a negative kind of change order and just closed the project out with money still left on it that was never spent. So.
But Tanya, what you built right now is the engineering cost total was 545,300. And right now what you built today is $587,052.09. So you're already above what the budget was. Am I correct? Well, I'm
That's
reading
correct.
from this chart here in front of me.
Yeah, so those are pre-amendment costs. So yeah, without the amendment,
But you said there is another $100,000 they haven't built.
that would be as part of the amendment. So in the construction amendment, you
Right.
know, for the 182, she's saying roughly 80,000 of that is for the design work, and the other 100,000 is for the anticipated construction related services that have not occurred yet, that have not been billed for yet. So that's what we'd line up with the schedule and make sure that that meets, so we can provide more information on that.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Okay.
If I get the
Yeah,
breakdown
no problem.
of this project, excuse me, if you get the breakdown on the project, separate design and this, and the construction, and the schedule of the construction, then we can see where we're going with this. Also, we need the schedule from contractors.
Yeah, and we generally get an updated schedule from them every 2 weeks, so.
Okay? We can have all this before next meeting. Send us ahead of a time so we have time to take a look at it. Yep, please.
Can do that.
Other question?
My only thought is on a go forward basis, and I know you're under pressure to get this one out. I always think in bidding, once you get over a 15% difference, you better start going, why? That to me is always
Yes.
like with 10, 12%, I don't bat an eye. You get 20%, now I want to know why.
And like I said,
The actual change order shouldn't be more than 15%.
but you're saying the original quotes, like when
The
those.
original quotes,
Yeah.
I'm saying when you go back to the original bidders.
And that's where, like, when I look back at the original proposals, Becker Hoppy, MSA, I mean, they talked about curb and gutter design and, you know, those items where Clark Dietz didn't. So, I mean, you know, as I read back through those, you know, you kind of get that moment of, oh, yeah, they were designing, they were proposing 2 different projects at the beginning of the, so,
And I mean, I'm trying to think back myself, and I want to kick myself on this one, because I said to myself, this one you could see it coming. Right? It was too big of a difference up front, and there had to be a difference, and the difference was
yeah,
level of service, right?
yeah,
And so if at that time we had said, well, this is a lower number, but this is why it's lower.
yeah. And then we got into it and we went, yeah, okay, there's,
And now you go, oh, it's not gonna work out that way. You come
Yeah.
back and you say, yeah, remember we talked about that was a lower number, but.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it makes it, yeah. And again, I'm not throwing stones at you because
yeah.
I feel like I'm in the same, I should have at that time said something too. Right?
It's,
I think as a committee, I think I wish we would have a thing and say, hey, if it's more than 15% difference, we need to dig.
You know, that's one thing. The other thing is, when they start designing and they see all this, they should come here. The engineer should come here and say, I got a problem,
Mhm.
that's the proposal.
Yep.
That's a design I have to do, that's a different cost. We couldn't work it out.
so, and so I
I
guess,
agree with you,
to be
Sean.
perfectly honest, those conversations happened, but they happened with me, not you guys. So that's the shame on me. I should have been bringing that to you guys as it was occurring instead of just saying, yeah, we gotta keep going with that. So that's a big one on me. You know, just making sure that we were keeping you guys more updated on what was going on, so. Cause those conversations were happening, they just didn't happen with the committee. So. And it wasn't a surprise, I guess, for me that, hey, we have to redesign it this way. I mean, it was, hey, it looks like this isn't happening, what do you want us to do? Like, well, I guess we're replacing curb then, so.
So do we want to defer this until?
The next meeting, because we need information. Then we know what we're doing and why we're doing it, why we're paying $82,000.
That's fine.
Well, I'll make a motion then to defer until next meeting with instructions to provide greater detail on the breakdown of what the costs were between design and the actual field work.
Second,
I'll second.
discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have it, thank you. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.
Okay, item seven, CIP update.
Weston Avenue is still going, paving in between Von Kennel and Huron got pushed back a day, so that'll be happening Wednesday this week instead of, Tuesday here. So once that section is paved through here and we can get the Shorey Avenue, project in the queue with American as well. So Schofield Ave, they are, I guess ahead of their projected schedule by about 2 weeks right now, so hopefully that stays. They're looking to get the curb work done the last week of August, so that's all completed before school starts. Hopefully paving can start there in early September, so this project might be done. Hopefully all open to traffic by the end of September instead of the end of October.
Okay. Shorey Avenue.
Yep.
There's certain area that base has to be excavated.
Yep.
Put bracket run or do something in there, because those area, and you can see it, if you drive through it, you see the patch area, those are the bad area.
Yeah, so we're only going through Anastasia on Shorey, so anything east of Anastasia is kind of those sections that need more help.
Yeah, those patch area.
Yeah.
I think you should check
Yeah,
out.
so we're not really touching that. Yeah. Yeah, so Schofield Ave is ongoing. Ross Ave, the Metro to Alderson, we submitted the 30% or whatever the percentage plans to the DOT today on those. So they'll be getting reviewed so we can get the transportation project plat adopted and start working on the right-of-way acquisition. They had a meeting last week with Green Heck looking at a way to put in a temporary road almost at the Alderson intersection so that traffic can keep flowing through there while the roundabout gets built. Sounded like Green Heck was agreeable to allowing that land to be used, so that was kind of the last part of the right-of-way piece we need to get worked out and submitted to the DOT. Fuller Street is going. For the most part, all the sewer and water main work between Rogan and Ross is done. They're at the Rogan intersection, I do believe, today. So once that wraps up, the pipe crew should be done from Rogan heading north here. And the roadway, continue working on getting that built with the sidewalk. I think it's 2 weeks or so from now, they have the concrete crews kind of scheduled to come in, so that northern portion between Rogan and Ross will be starting to get closer to looking like a complete road. And then that southern stretch from Schofield Ave will keep getting built with utility work heading towards Rogan. I guess
Is that project going good?
so far, as far as the public is concerned, yes. We've had a couple heart-to-heart meetings with the contractor on site on some things that got addressed right away last week, so I think we're.
Public doesn't know that stuff.
No.
They don't wanna know it, but if there's an issue, you gotta be taking care of it today, not tomorrow.
Correct, yeah, so I can tell you I spent a fair amount of time, I think it was Monday last week out there, myself, making sure that their crew understood what it meant to properly construct a roadway.
Right.
So,
Okay.
had a few fun discussions, but got that taken care of.
Is that utilities is it new sewer and water all the way down to Schofield Ave? I don't remember.
No, that was new storm sewer, and then it's just new water main from the Mountain Bay Crossing to like Moyer Street.
So a lot of their pipe work is
Yeah, for the most part, pipe work is almost done. Yeah. Yeah. They should be starting to set up temp water this week, and then they'll lay that water main that really shouldn't take them more than about a week to do.
Yeah, cause I drove through this weekend and I see they had the temp laid out on the west side.
Yeah.
So, and the road was drivable. It wasn't bad, I didn't think. So, especially with all the rain we got Saturday, it held up pretty good.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I got it.
Okay, can we have, for next meeting, the schedule of this project
Sure.
and their budget?
Yep.
How much they build? How much left in the budget?
Yes.
And when is the end of the project?
So that's why I started here. You know, like our Ross Ave projects, you know, we've got a design cost to date. You know, so both, you know, so the River Bend one to Paul's is, you know, not even a fifth of the way build. The Metro to Alderson is about half, not quite half. I can expand on that more. You know, those two Ross projects are 2027 and 2028 projects. So I guess tell me the information you want and I can try to make sure I have it all in there in a way that's easy to comprehend. Like I said, I had a lot more columns at one point and then it seemed like that just got to be a lot of data, so
Put it the other way, long way, 11 by 17,
sure,
maybe it can be a little bit larger, that work.
okay. Yeah, so so that's what I can put, you know, estimated, you know, bid date, estimated construction year. Kind of keep expanding on those items.
Right. Question for Michael? Okay, item 8 is street operation update.
Yes, DPW has been working on raising manholes, water valves for all their street overlay projects going on in the village. They saw cut around each individual structure, inspect it, do repairs and set it back to the new pavement height. And as to date, they got 28 manholes and 18 water valves done. We have 25 more to do. Staff also got some line painting done by crosswalks. They laid out their own measurement and made their own stencils for a few projects on painting. The DPW, along with the Weston Water Utilities, City of Schofield, repaired a valve leak on Bolton Street. DPW did the excavation and the trucking of the materials. The Weston Water Utilities, along with Schofield, did all the repairs.
Got those picture in here. I don't see any hard hat.
Yeah, the guy in the ladder just actually, he had his on, he just took it off, so.
I think this
They
gentleman,
need to be on, yeah, they got told.
they have to wear it.
Yep.
And there is no ifs or buts,
I agree.
because that's a liability for everybody. Everybody, I mean, if there is a problem out there, somebody got hurt, everybody gonna answer.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
And staff is also adding on to the storm sewer off of Gene Allen, Sternberg area. In this whole area, there was improper drainage and ditches. The crews are re-ditching, putting in nioplast structures for inlets. And this roadway will be receiving an overlay as well, so drainage was needed. Cup of wood grinding came in, ground up a brush pile. They were all had it chipped out and trucked within a week's time. The Fuller's project going on, Weston is receiving sands from that sand fill from the project. The amount excavated is supposed to be a total of around 80,000 yards. Weston Crewley, Randy Leistra has been managing the site, keeping it organized. He's also we have concrete coming in from Schofield Avenue, blacktop from Weston Ave and the Fuller Street project. So he's basically full-time out there. And then in the shop, we had going on the Unit 25, the Quantics dump truck. Had service, AC repairs, fan motor, higher rotation, air dryer. Unit 32, the front end loader, had body panels and along with other exterior parts that were starting to rust. that were repainted and then had a full service done. The street sweeper has an external pressure washer on it that needed a new reel, and the pressure washer actual pump on it was repaired. Unit 113 is the mower, we use for right-of-way mowing. Finished up the transmission repairs, AC, oil mower maintenance. And then 32, the same end loader has a bent plow frame they're fixing up, straightening. Parks mowers, our mechanics are helping with, along with the Parks Department. Leaf vacs are brought in, serviced, and all prepared for this fall cleanup. And Unit 59, 1999 Chevy pickup was serviced and other miscellaneous parts were repaired. That's it.
Question?
Who's responsible if trees start to encroach on our stop signs?
We would trim those.
Who would?
Yes.
Maybe take a look at Ross and Metro. If you're in the south.
So that might be in Schofield.
On the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, the limousine, or that's on Schofield, so.
Okay, you know about, okay,
Yes.
yeah, I noticed that one this weekend, and I said, boy, they really should.
Yes,
cut that.
I did notify Schofield about it, so.
You did, okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Thanks.
I wasn't sure if that was us or
Oh.
them.
At the Ryan Street, yard waste, did they pave that stretch?
Yes, we have the two driveway entrance paved, the one going into the drop off and then the next one to the south. The only one we did not get done yet is the furthest one by our building because of Melvin trucking in and out of there.
Yeah, but I think that is about maybe 120, 125 feet.
We had an additional 100 foot put onto that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so what was there? I think 50 feet was there. We added another 100 going into the waste site.
Yeah, so we should be
It
at
was to keep the
150
dust down
now.
onto the road, right?
Dust and tracking.
Tracking, yeah.
I know one of the neighbors has commented and said thank you for, because it has seemed to be beneficial.
It is, but the last time I went there, the new pavement was there, but the dust and everything else from the other area was dragging on it.
Sure.
And eventually gonna cover it, so.
Sure, we can have that swept on
Somehow help,
on a bi-weekly basis or something.
yeah,
Definitely keep an eye on it.
it helped a neighbor, yes, I think it's nice to help. Yep, thanks. Okay, item 9, utility operation update. Josh?
Sure, not a lot of well maintenance items over the past month, just a simple leak. Yes, thank you. Maybe that's because we're busy on other things, not to know about it. Just kidding. So a couple of well maintenance items we had. Forrest touched on that water main leak over on Volkman there that we assisted in repairing. We got through our large meter testing of our 3-inch enlargers. Conducted a number of lateral inspections, included a couple photos in the report. Our water main flushing is continuing when we can work around the numerous projects going on and we have time to get out and actually do it. Assisted on all the ongoing projects. There's lots of shut-offs along Fuller as they're doing some of the intersection upgrades along there. Green Tree is back doing a lot of pressure testing and safe water samples along with Schofield Ave. Sewer side, we made up for our water side lack of work with having to pull a number of pumps. Included a couple photos of our Fox Street lift station plugged with flushable wipes. A couple other pumps were pulled, one due to an over temp load. The guys can kind of see this as the hours for the pumps start to, usually they run in a pretty similar number of hours per day. So when they start to notice there's a discrepancy in the hours, they usually get to pull them and see what's going on with it. Our sewer jetting continued, similarly with our flushing when we have a chance to get out and do it. Collected our pH probe data cleaned some of our bad spots. Also did some of our regular routine maintenance on our generator items. Included a couple pictures, thought I'd include one other picture from a young fan of our utility, thanking us for keeping the water clean. I won't fault her for thinking that we were keeping the water clean when it was our vac truck, but she's recognizing we're out there doing work, so. You know, the big truck is cool, so that's our sewer truck, but you know, we'll let it slide this one. So I thought it was nice that somebody recognized our guys out in the community there, so.
Did they hand it to you or they tag it to the truck or?
They handed it to Chad. So
Good.
our cuddly teddy bear on the utility. So it was nice to see that. I think we also had, little girl gave one of the guys some dandelions, so. No, they're not all bad out there and think we're just causing a big mess, so. SCADA project, we should be having a meeting, I believe, this week. I don't know if we have a confirmation if our designer, who's from the East Coast, is going to be making it. But we need him to be in town here so we can kind of see what our implementers put in for us, and our designer agrees with what's been installed, and kind of have a last go around to make sure everything's functioning as it should and alarms are reeling what they are intended to. After that, digger's tickets still continuing, work orders.
Josh,
Yeah.
that is SCADA, that's
Yep.
done.
It's done, it's functional, I haven't heard many issues on it, at least.
Can it be tested?
So that's
Yeah.
what this Wednesday is.
Yeah.
The designer from AECom will be in town, kind of giving it his final sign off of,
Yeah.
yes, it's.
I'd like to see the final bill, how much this project cost us,
Sure.
the SCADA cost and engineering cost. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I can add that to the schedule.
Some other contract work items. Our PFAS permanent treatment plant project. We were supposed to have tanks on site last week. They will not be here until the first week of September, hopefully. I know August Winter, who is waiting for them to be on site, has reached out to the manufacturer to see why was the shipping date set for the August 4th, and then the Friday prior to that, they said it would be pushed out a month. I don't understand how it can be pushed out a month. So there's some questions to be answered as to why it keeps getting pushed off. But our well 4 and 3 still remain off. Hopefully it's September comes, the tanks are ready, because they need to be outside to get paint and the coatings applied before moving into the treatment plant. So the time is kind of shrinking down where we're gonna have good weather outside to make sure this paint is applied properly. So next week or so, we'll have some definite answers need to be coming from the manufacturer.
Who is the manufacturer?
You know who's making it's I could pull it up. I don't know, do you got an email? Something started with a B.
Aquio US?
Yeah.
AQUEO
something like
US, that's,
Is it Winters that sourced it, or is it us?
no, Winter sourced it as the prime contractor.
Yeah. So it's, I guess it's tough that, you know, they're trying to dig their heels in now, and it was already, I mean, I think we were supposed to have these April, May, something. We were supposed to have them a while back, that they were projecting to have some of these. So we need to get some answers.
August Winter's giving you a final firm date at this point as to the ship date?
Well, the ship date was supposed to be August 4th, and we had plans for them to be staging either behind the municipal center overnight, so then they could take them to the facility the next day. And August Winter had sent an email saying we're looking to line up our cranes. Can you confirm the tanks are on there or coming? And he said, hold off on the cranes. It's gonna be pushed out. So, I didn't have a chance to reach out to anybody today. I'll get to it tomorrow and make sure we.
And I'm assuming we don't have
Some
a penalty
answers.
clause in the contract.
As long as they meet their final date,
Yeah.
I mean, their delivery date was set by them, like we didn't set the delivery date, so. I'd have to, give me a second, I can find their completion date. But I don't think it's actually until the spring.
Yeah. But we would like to have well
I'd like to
4
get
back
it
on as soon as we can get it.
So are they still going to make, they'll still make their completion date even though.
They should
this is-
still meet their
Yeah.
completion date, yeah.
So we can't, so we really don't have any leverage.
We don't, I mean, it's,
That's what I was trying to get to
Yeah.
on this.
And that's why it's hard to get.
Maybe they'll penalize themselves.
Well,
Can't puff your chest out too much and say we need it when it's like, well, they're still gonna meet their.
that's my, that's.
When you
my-
hear dates and they're coming and you do work and say you can park it here, we can plan here, and then it's like, well, no, we don't need any of that, cause now it's pushed off till another month, so. I think everything else is basically touched on, SCADA, inspections. We will have our second round of our uncontrolled, unregulated contaminant monitoring rule 5. Our second round will be collected here in August. And once we get those results, we did get another round of our raw water, so I'm gonna hopefully include, well, yeah, maybe next month or the month after, we'll include kind of what our latest trend line is for some of our raw water sample data. And I can include that in the report. Beyond that, we just have our customers added, water pumped, wastewater flows in our lift station hours.
When is your flushing, water main flushing be done, completed?
When will it be done? They're getting close to completing the
east portion.
east portion. So basically, now that we have 7 and 8, we basically redid, we had a unidirectional flushing system set up with all these different sequences that the guys could use when we utilize different wells and towers. But now that we want to use 7 and 8 because it's our cleanest water, we basically clean everything from that. So we actually valved all the way down Camp Phillips to kind of almost have 2 systems running. So once we get the east side of the village done, then we'll revalve it to then start flushing out using 7 and 8 to the west side of the village. So they still have quite a bit of time. Our guys are frustrated that they have, their mornings are usually spent with shut-offs for, different valve replacements, hydrant replacements for ongoing projects, and they have their wells and lift stations to do still. So they're usually only getting maybe 4 hours of flushing a day, when usually when we'd have our 5 staff and a summer help, we would have 2 guys flushing, 2 guys jetting, another guy doing all the other work, and a summer help helping on our hydrant maintenance. But now we really only have, with vacations and whatnot, we have 3 operators and a summer help this week. So we get out when we can get out. So it's still it'll probably go into, it'll approach end of September, I would think.
On the plus side, most of our big mains have been flushed, so
Yes.
the smaller ones do go quicker.
Yeah.
So it be done before November.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
We don't want it in November.
no.
No,
I mean, we would prioritize wrapping that up before we would wrap up our sewer jetting anyways, much to the chagrin of our guys, but we can't be spraying water all over if it's gonna be cold.
So I called you last week over that water standing there.
Yeah, they had, so that was, they had installed a hydrant into the old Alpine trailer park. So they had to use a hydrant down the way to flush. So that was just standing water from when they had to, just to get air out of the system when they had put that new hydrant in across the street there.
So after the rain, I drive through the area, all that water, but they clean it up.
I don't know.
What we gotta see, those bases cannot be wet and then they start putting asphalt in there.
Yeah,
They gotta be dry, at least with the minimum moisture in there.
yeah, I mean, we're, like I said, concrete will be the end of August, so I mean, we're a good chunk away from, getting to, paving of the road, so I mean, there's time for it to get out.
Because if we don't do it, it is not that way, the moisture stay in there.
Yeah.
In November, it's gonna start, frost penetration, that's it.
Yeah.
What happened to that easement? At Cedar Creek? With the
It's
MITAC and.
still there. I don't think we've gotten, do we have another meeting?
MSA was supposed to be getting, Catherine at the MSA was gonna get me a proposal, she was out 2 weeks ago. And then she needed to run some things past one of her supervisors, so. I don't have that yet, and I guess as I discussed earlier, unfortunately, I don't necessarily have the capacity maybe to take on a whole lot more right now, so. I know that should be a priority, I just haven't gotten it back up there.
Okay.
This is a general question. We haven't had any other problems with the Rib Mountain Metro volumes, nothing.
No.
No, everything else has been pretty good this year, we are tracking below budget, so.
That was spring last year we had the,
Yeah, it was the March bill last year, I do believe.
Yeah.
okay, so nothing is reoccurring.
No, and even our pH stuff has been pretty good. I think we made it known to a few probable causers that we were out there monitoring and,
Things improved.
things improved. We didn't have the data necessarily to be like, aha, we know it's you, but, we had enough information to be like, we think it might be you.
When you know, you know.
Yeah.
So we did get a number of extra probes, so maybe maybe we just need to have some kind of fake PVC things that they look like probes and then they think we're doing something and we'll monitor some spots and then, I don't know.
My comment would be maybe we need to just annually or semi-annually go around and remind those people.
And there's when we do our sewer jetting, we get some pictures of, you've reminded them a couple of years ago and they've been okay, and then
That's
now
my
they
point.
pull it back and then it's full of, grease and everything else, so, and they might just need reminders to clean out their own settling basins and different stuff, so.
Yeah, I would think like a biannual reminder would be
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
Question for Josh? Okay, item 11, we don't have to take any action on those items. Weston Avenue, Corny Trunk X to Corny Trunk J, construction change order number 3, Michael?
Yeah, so as we would started getting into the road cut. I guess change order number 3 has a few things. Some of it was just changing out some service sets. The original design had 1.5-inch services. We moved many of those down to 1-inch services because the houses were right off the road. So there's really no need to be the upsize. So there was some decrease in cost by going with the smaller services. And then the big item was, as we got through the road cut, there's kind of this odd layer of almost peat type of organic material sandwiched in between clay and what was the previous road bed. So the design kind of had the subgrade right at that layer, and it wouldn't have been prudent to have left that in there, knowing that we're trying to build this thing for the long haul. So we had them over excavate out the bad organic material. The first day it occurred, they got some breaker run in there, or maybe it was first 2 days. And then we reevaluated it because we thought it was just an isolated spot, and as they kept going, we kept finding it. It does kind of move in and out, so in some spots it doesn't exist, in other spots it's right at the surface, so then we start using the original roadbed. When they dug it up the first time, they stockpiled a lot of that material out at Ryan Street, so we had them utilize that initially, and then as we start looking at you know, if this is gonna be that way for the next, you know, mile of this roadway here, we have a lot of sand from the Fuller Street project that we can utilize as a stable fill underneath the roadway, so we've been moving to having them utilize that sand fill, which is about 2,000 yards estimated. Forrest alluded to it earlier, we have about 80,000 yards of sand, so 2,000 yards is a pretty negligible amount from there, but it will make sure that we don't end up with a settled layer of I guess a base of pavement structure through that corridor. So the total estimated increase is 53,000 of that change order. So we're still under the original contract amount for this project, but I guess just wanted to make sure
You're looking for a
we're
motion?
keeping you updated. Yeah, so we looked for a motion to approve change order number 3 here for the increase of $53,018.53.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Could you add that number to it, that $53,018?
I'll include that in the motion. The number.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have it, thank you. Item 13, residential cross connection contract. How much was his contract last time?
I don't know when our last one we had was. It was
The last main one was part of the
meter changeout,
the meter
right?
changeout project, which was the
20
included in with all the residential meter replacements in 2017.
Yeah, so 2016, 17.
Yeah.
So I guess we've utilized HydroCorp for all our non-residential cross-connection inspections for our industrial and commercial facilities. So as part of under the DNR code, we have to meet a certain number of inspections a year. So with our meter changeout program, we are able to, with the meters that were installed, it was a 20-year inspections frequency for those meters where we met the cross-connection inspection for those residential properties. So this 3-year contract will get some of the ones that were missed at the meter changeout time or just post-meter changeout time. And then it's going to include some of our more recent subdivisions that have come online here. So over the next 3 years, we kind of want to get all of our residentials within that inspection period. So then come 2035, well, so it's all kind of leading up to our next mass meter changeout program, which is probably going to be coming to discuss in probably 2032 to start planning for 2033, 4, 5, somewhere in there. So we haven't had to do any residential cross-connection inspections because it all met the threshold based on our meter changeout program we did 16, 17, 18. So with Stacy, we have, you know, a little better data where we can actually see when our meters were installed and ones that missed their cross-connection inspection. So that's what this contract will do. We'll probably have to do another one. This is going to take only 1,080 of them. I don't have the exact number yet of how many are missing their cross-connection, but we'll probably have to have maybe a second contract, and I believe there's a year-to-year kind of pricing, 12-month increments where we can either cancel or re-up with it, so. But like I said, we've used them year to year with our commercial and industrial inspections, so this is just to get us on board with our residentials. And like I put in here, they're not necessarily complex inspections, but to try to get 360 inspections scheduled and coordinated with our operators to do that. They're not plumbers. I mean, they know a lot about water and sewer, but you know, this is what HydroCorp does. So it's just, the time and money that our guys would have to spend to do this is just, it would be a lot harder for us to do it than to hire somebody who does it for their job.
Yeah, I dealt with them. It's pretty easy thing,
Yeah.
really. I mean,
Yeah.
you add that piece with the checkbook on
Yeah.
there, and that's it.
I mean, they go in, they know what to look for. I mean, really, I think all that we'll have to do is, you know, they schedule it. They send us and Stacy and I a list. You know, we kind of go through to make sure that it's not a vacant property or something where if they show up and it is a vacant property, that does count as one of our inspections. So we go through and make sure that it's, you know, on our commercial side especially, that it's actually a business that's needing an inspection. So they handle all the coordination and contact the residents to schedule it up. The only thing that we would really have to do is if it's the last inspection where they have not still remedied an issue, then we send a letter basically giving them, I don't know what it's laid out there, I think a month maybe or 20 days before we would shut their water off, so.
Hey, what's your wishes?
It says, what is the follow-up then when they find something in a residential?
So if they find something, they send a letter saying what they'll have to do to remedy it, and I believe they do supply some basic items if it's something like hose bib or something simple. So they basically send a letter saying you have to remedy this, and then that homeowner will have to contact a plumber or somebody to come in and rectify that, and then the homeowner will call the number provided to set up another inspection that HydroCorp will go and inspect to make sure that it's fixed. And if the initial letter is not responded to, they send a second letter. If second letter is not responded to, we get the notification that they are now in non-compliance. We send a letter with a date saying if this is not fixed by such and such a date, we'll be shutting off your water.
Are you allowed to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the DNR code and the Wisconsin plumbing
I
code.
was just, I mean, potable water is kind of necessary for life, so.
Yeah.
It's
But
what-
they can, if we don't do this, there's a cross connection, they could contaminate our distribution system and then everybody's.
I was just, when I read this, I was just curious for what happens when somebody doesn't, because you know somebody won't.
Yeah. And I did look back, our last contract with them for residential cross connection was 120,000, so.
So this is 103,555.
Yeah.
That was at 96 cents.
Correct.
And there is, you know, all of this is now, there is a HydroSoft software that I can log into and track, you know, everybody who's on the list and, you know, we can, it'll be a lot easier for Stacy and I to kind of stay on top of things should we have to start, sending out some non-compliance letters and.
And the total is for all 3 years.
So yes, that total is for a 3-year contract. So really it's paid monthly. What is it, 33,000 a year, but it's, you know, kind of escalating. First year is 27,6450 a month, 2875, 2990, you know, months 2, 1, 2, 3.
Was the
Or
last
year
contract
1, 2,
3 years?
3.
I'll move to recommend village board approve the professional service agreement with HydroCorp for a 3-year contract total of $103,555.96.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have it. Thank you. Item 14. We got 11 minutes here. And that's, item 14 is 2025 to 2029 capital improvement plan discussion.
Yeah.
Is that enough time to discuss these projects?
Well, so as I lead into it, I didn't get a whole lot of time to update much, so I essentially just included what I had in July. You know, the two items that were kind of missing is our capital equipment, so making sure our fleet replacements, those items are accounted for. And then also, yeah, we don't really have anything in there for parks, so kind of going through that, which I guess is more of the park committee duty than public works, but so I just put it back out there just so it's still in front of your eyes, and for Fred, you know, first time looking at it, he's got that information there to review. So there really isn't a whole lot of new items in there, but just kind of don't want it to get lost. So, you know, as I mentioned in there, our large equipment is in pretty good shape. We've had a lot of consistent replacement there. You know, and even our smaller equipment, we've bought some trailers this year. Our asphalt roller, I think, was last year, and some of those attachments, the tool cat. So, you know, we've got some other older mowers and things of that nature that aren't the, you know, $200,000 purchases, but we probably have a handful of that, you know, $50,000 to $70,000 purchase out there. So, just working on getting those better identified and laid out there, and making sure that what we put together is a sustainable plan moving forward. You know, I know our plow trucks back in 2011, 2012, when we kind of first started a replacement program for the plow trucks. It seemed like about 12 years was the sweet spot for them before that we started hitting a lot of major repairs. I guess the two trucks we have that are nearing that are actually, I think, still in pretty good shape. So, you know, we potentially would be able to space that out a little bit more even, so maybe 14 years, but I guess we want to make sure we don't get back into that spot where all of a sudden we have a snowstorm and half of our fleet's in the shop because it's broke. And that's where we were. So that's kind of been the main priority over the last 10 years, is making sure that when we have to respond to a snow event, everything can be out there and we're not at half capacity because the other half of the staff is here waiting for a hydraulic hose to get replaced, or you know, part of the motor that blew. So we're just down a piece of equipment. So, I mean, if there's other projects in there or streets that you see that we don't have listed that you think should be on there, I guess let me know. You know, the drinking water, I know we've talked about that quite a bit. So the well 3 project is currently out for bid. We have a pre-bid meeting tomorrow on that. So we'll be meeting with potential bidders on that tomorrow. So they'll be at the next meeting in September as far as
Which project they are?
the well 3, so the iron manganese removal portion of well 3.
Yep.
So,
Is the retention pond in here, Michael?
yeah, so that's the Business 51 storm pond. So that's currently in design and working its way through our clean water fund. Sent some information out to the DOT last week and haven't heard back from them yet, so keep poking at them a little bit there.
When was that supposed to fall?
27, 28. You know, we have a little flexibility with some of the DNR grants, and really it's trying to get as many as we can before we break ground on that, so.
The reason I asked, I said we should have more time to discuss this project. I think right now we got too many projects going. And with the staff we have, that is not enough to manage these projects. So from now on, as we going on, I think we should look at this project. I'm gonna ask Michael to organize this project for, say, 26, 27, 28, 29, whatever. It should be manageable.
Yeah,
And you're gonna come and tell us I can do it, no, I cannot do it.
Yep, and
Don't
that's.
be shy.
Yep. And honestly, that's my goal, is to make sure it is a manageable plan. I guess that's what I mean. It's manageable on the staff side as well as financially. You know, this year in particular, we have TIF funding for Weston Ave, Schofield Ave, we got PFAS funding for the drinking water plant, we got a grant in Schofield Ave. I mean, Fuller Street is really our only general fund project happening right now. So in a year or two, a lot of those other funding mechanisms don't exist anymore, and we're gonna be back to just, you know, our general fund, so we, you know, we're not gonna be able to take on as much, but you know, the Ross Avenue, you know, those are DOT grants, a lot of those projects, they get run through the DOT project management system, so we'll have our utility aspect of those projects, but otherwise the DOT handles, you know, 80-ish% of those projects. They're overseeing it, so we still have a role to play, but it's not,
Right.
it's not the same day-to-day questions that we
You'd be
get.
surprised, but
Well, I know, but I mean, honestly, I thought Schofield Ave was gonna be way worse than it was this year. I mean, yeah, no, but I mean, as far as, you know, businesses and complaints and things like that, that was actually probably the smoothest project we have going. You know, and the other ones are usually easy, like the Fuller Street, there's a lot of residents there, so it's a lot of people just, how do I get here? How, you know, and just kind of helping them through the construction process. So neighborhoods tend to be the most time consuming, just as you want to help residents understand what's going on. So it's a whole lot of,
still we're gonna talk about it.
yeah, no, I 100% agree with you.
Okay, great. Future item 15, next meeting dates, Monday, September 8, 2025 at 4:30 PM. That's a regular meeting. Item B, Monday, October 13, 2025, 4:30 PM. Again, that's a regular meeting. Topic for future village-wide WPS street lighting update. We should discuss this sometime in the future for sure. Instead of just putting it on the agenda. Okay, item B, consolidation of Ryan Street Yard material site with the village of Rothschild. Get to it eventually sometime.
We never heard anything back from them, did we?
We're waiting on them to present an agreement.
Item 17, remark from the staff. Josh,
Nope, nothing.
okay.
No, I said enough.
Welcome, Fred.
Yes, welcome, Fred. There we go. Nice job.
Remark from committee members.
Probably remark is I won't be at the next meeting. This is a reminder again.
Oh, it's not gonna be either.
I'll be in Germany. I know I won't be.
I'll be in Montana, so.
You will come back, brother?
I will.
You're not gonna be here next
Time
week.
difference, it's too much.
Yeah, well, and I won't be here next September, in September.
We have to make sure we have quorum.
Yeah.
So I'll count on you.
Well, that's good to know too, because we can ask another trustee potentially to sit in too if we need
Yeah,
to.
you may want, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I maybe could, come in via Zoom. You know.
Okay. All right.
I think Louis probably would if we gave him a little heads up, because has familiarity with the committee. He probably would if we just gave him the date.
They were giving you a heads up.
Metzger Street intersection,
Could you?
send them a registered letter, no email.
Sure.
And demand from him, we need pay requests. The contract said every 30 days you submit pay request. So unless his contract doesn't have it, I don't know, but usually it is there. Even if it is not there, the construction is finished, he should submit his pay requests.
We talking about the traffic light?
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, no, I,
Registered letter,
yep.
please. I'm looking my note here. I'm good. Okay, item 19, there is no announcement. I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're adjourned. Thank you very much.